Hello and welcome back to Talent Thrives Here, where we talk to people managing people. Our special guest today is Louis Laforest. Louis runs a successful branding and design business. He's the president and creative director for two full service agencies. Louis, thank you so much for joining the show today. Nice to have you on.
Glad to be on, Lance. Thank you.
Great. You've been an entrepreneur for the majority of your career, I believe, right? 30 plus years you've been in design and branding, running a team up to 8, 10, 15 or so folks at some times. I wondered if you can tell some of our listeners about your successes in the past several years and some of the projects you enjoyed working on the most. Is there a sweet spot? Do you align really well with a certain kind of client? You know, if I'd you have I haven't heard that term client avatar. Is there something you go,
Yes.
this would be great because we line up well with these guys?
That's definitely an interesting question. As a trained designer, I've been in the business for so long. I find that we can do a lot of different kinds of work, and deal with a lot of different kinds of industries and clients and whatnot. But definitely a passion of mine is probably sports. Anything to do with sports, absolutely love it. So a few notable projects was working with the Ottawa 67s here in Ottawa. So they're a major junior hockey team. So dealing with the owners and helping them with their brand work and advertising and radio, it was really fun to deal with that and just be up close and personal with the team and whatnot, and all the backroom experiences, really fun. Let's see what else here. Canadian Soccer Association. So we've done a lot of work with them, and then when the women's worlds came around to working on that. When the Olympics came around, helped them out with some work on the Olympics as well. So that those are definitely notables for sure.
Yeah, great. And are you an athlete yourself? Do you play a lot of sports, or did you play a lot of sports at some point?
Well, at my age, maybe not, but I'm not old, but I'm not young. But no, I definitely, true Canadian in a true Canadian fashion, played a ton of hockey,
Right.
and was a not bad hockey player. I suppose I rose to midget AAA level
Right.
as a young man.
Yeah.
So definitely have a passion for hockey and enjoying the season right now, the playoffs with a Canadian team in the final. So that's really good.
Yeah. 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 I'm in Toronto, as you know, and we always wait for the Maple Leafs maybe one day to win the cup again. It's sort of
Yes.
a little
Well,
joke.
yeah, and being a Senators fan, I really it's really too bad about Toronto because I
Yeah.
think that they really should be in the finals.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
a great team. They're a great team.
Right. Right. Well, good. Good. Great. Look, I'm curious also, are you seeing any trends in business and marketing right now? Because as you know, social media has blown up like crazy. You know, if you and I have been in this business for many years, and 25 or 30 years ago, it was not like it is today with Instagram and TikTok and all these different areas to brand yourself, and even LinkedIn in the last year or two has become like a social platform. It used to be very business oriented only, and now they've almost made it like Facebook for business or something like that. So I'm curious with your clients when you're recommending things to them, how do you, bring in sort of more modern technology and modern media platforms?
Well, I think for us, and you're right. It's everything's gone online, and especially the marketing efforts as well, right? So printing is almost non-existent.
Yeah,
And it has its value. Like for me, as business cards first.
yeah,
And it's funny, it might have been the last thing on the list once upon a time, but business cards are more important now more than ever, and meeting in person and networking in person is really important.
right,
But it's difficult to do that now, right? So
yeah,
we definitely have changed our approach to a digital first approach with our clients. And so whenever we take a branding or a project exercise, it's always, is it going to live online or is it going to be printed? That's one of the first two questions that we ask. And then when it comes to developing or rebranding or continuing someone's brand, because that's a lot of our work is working with existing brands and existing companies that have ongoing work, and we take care of their brands for them, right? So there's none of this re-education, so that's we have a good system in place, we have good client loyalty. So what happens most of the time is clients come to us and say, we need a brochure, or we have a very small project, or we need a display ad, or we need a Twitter post, or we need a big annual report, but they don't have to worry about the details of, okay, make sure you use our colors, or make sure you use the logo, or you make sure you use the right font or whatever.
Yeah.
Our guys already have that in place. It's easy to just step into it.
Yeah.
But more and more, what fits into a brand is developing the digital content, right? So the video content, make sure that the writing is on par, that it's up to snuff, that it fits the client's values and missions and that sort of thing, and it's attached really well to their brand.
Hmm.
And then obviously design is attached to everything, all of those mediums, right? So applying that design to all the different mediums, and then templating and logo listings and motion graphics, it's just becoming such a big thing, right? And it's hard because there's less live video. So we actually teach our clients to do their own video a lot of times, because they want to portion their budgets into different areas. So there's always a difference between the different clients in terms of strategy. We have touch points with all of our clients on a regular basis, I'd say from weekly to monthly, and then that shifts.
Gotcha. Good, good. Yeah, it always amazes me with, again, I sort of feel old school some days because I worked in sign shops when I was a kid, and we did everything by hand. And then I remember computers coming into the sign shop, and, guys that have been journeyman painters their whole lives and were brilliant designers, but they did everything with a paintbrush. And now we had computers and we had vinyl and we had all these new mediums. So it shifted. And, you've heard it a million times: print is dead, print is dead, print is dead. Yet print's just gone digital, right? Everyone's, I think, bombarded with more media today than they've ever been bombarded, if they want to, right? If you plug in and you can go down
Yes.
25 wormholes in a day with all this different media bombarding us all the time. I want to pivot for a second because you mentioned, yeah, I know you've got a crew that you work with. How about managing people? You have a crew of people you've trusted for years. Can you tell us about them and how you manage them so that they thrive and perform well, not only for themselves, but for you and for your clients?
Well, oddly enough, is there's a lot of talk online right now, and especially from big gurus like, let's say, Justin Welsh, about solopreneurship. And I would say probably I'm one of the original solopreneurs, right? I started from home, built a business around working from home,
Yeah,
because I didn't have money for fancy offices and boardrooms and whatnot. And back in the day, and so for me, I think it's been in business for over 23 years, but back in the day, it was just like frowned upon. Oh,
right,
you have an office from home.
right,
You must not do high quality work. You must not really know what you're doing, because I want to be picked up by the limo and brought to the big ad meeting, and it just doesn't work. So it was kind of funny. And now it's like what everybody wants to do is work from
right,
home. And so over the years, we had staff, and we still do today. Everybody works from home,
mm,
and it's always been that way. And
right,
we actually were video conferencing before the pandemic even hit.
yeah,
So for us, when the pandemic, and we were very fortunate in that sense, is that when the pandemic hit and everybody went inside, we were already set up that way. So for us, it was a kind of a seamless transition with our clients as well, to just kind of continue working, right? And so as you mentioned in your intro, I have two agencies. I have a very traditional full service agency, and with that, it's a core staff, and they've been with us for years, and we message on a daily basis. We video conference on a daily or weekly basis. We have touch points on a weekly basis. We have systems on the computer with messaging and whatnot, and emailing that is very efficient and still works to this day. Now, we also have an on-demand design services for design, video, and web, and that is more for um, clients who want less touch points with us directly, that want to work directly with the designer, because there's such, and it's funny too, over the years it's always been the same case. can I talk directly to the designer? And I get this at the full design agency that we run at forestcom.com. But at forestcom.design, it's kind of like something that clients want to do. So they get to do that because we have a
Yeah.
job board, and through that job board, well, it's a project management board. I shouldn't say job board, project
Sure.
management board. And we use many requests. And basically what happens is they get to interact directly with the designer that's assigned to them as a client. And that designer never changes.
Right.
So that works really well. And it's very efficient. And it happens almost instantly because the messaging is implemented into the same platform.
Yeah.
So it works. So that side of the business, the on demand at forestcon.design, that's works really well, and it kind of runs itself. So it's good for me as an entrepreneur because I don't have to have my kind of my hands into the day-to-day
Right.
activities
Yeah. And
with the work.
I would imagine too there's less chance of miscommunication because they're talking direct to the person who's going to be hands on with the project, as opposed to, you're going to interpret their notes and then your guy's going to interpret your notes, and
Yes,
it's that extra layer that where it's time consuming. And I've worked with
exactly.
some design firms with similar. The other thing is a designer would do like a loom recording to show the thinking. Hey, I moved this here and I moved this over there, but record that and then drop the video message to me. And I thought, oh, that's a great way because he could drop it to me at 7 or 8 o'clock at night or whenever, and we don't physically need to be in the same time zone to actually get the message delivered. So, um,
Exactly. So we do the same. We do the same with our clients as well. And they really are flabbergasted at how efficient it is, you
yeah,
know? And it felt, I think it was something that was hard to do before, right?
mm,
That kind of, but now with platforms like Loom, like you mentioned,
yeah,
and CleanShot, we use CleanShot as well
yeah,
for screen recordings. You can really kind of, instead of sending an email, because my goal for the last 2 3 years is I want to cut down on the amount of emails
yeah,
that I receive and that I send.
absolutely, yeah,
And for me it could be 2 or 300 a day, right? So there's a lot going on. So the project management board has cut that in half, not only for me but for my designers and for my clients as well. So
right,
it's a real benefit, right? And then sending looms or clean shot videos of mock-ups and why we did certain things and whatnot, and getting feedback is really great. Unfortunately, a lot of clients are not set up at their end to do that. So,
yeah,
we're pretty active in trying to get them set up to do that as well.
yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting you say that because it is a, I don't know if it's a generational shift, but there are so many really cool tools available now, and a lot of them are free, but people haven't spent the time to investigate them, right? So, yourself, myself, it's like we're pushing these ideas on people, but I think it's great because eventually we'll get there, right? More people will understand, and they're very user friendly. 20 years ago, you needed to dig into a book sometimes, but now, and also with YouTube, you can go quick on YouTube and get a tutorial on almost anything now, right? So
Yes.
it's night and day that the tools that are available. Even I've got one of those Alexa dots in our house, and it's hilarious. I'll say, look, Alexa, what's the weather today, and or anything like that. Or it's like having a smartphone but in the air, and I can just
Yes.
ask a question to the air. The problem, of course, is when I get in the car and I forget I don't have the dot with me. you know.
Yes, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. And it's so true. And even for me, so I'm a trained designer myself, but I prefer just running the business and acting as a creative director and strategist. But even for me, I know how to use Adobe Premiere. I'm a
Right.
Premiere Pro user. I know how to edit in it, but
Yeah.
for doing my subtitles and my videos, I don't use it, you
Yeah.
know. I record straight up to the cloud, and then I take that and I throw it into Descript to do the subtitles. Why? Because it's just faster.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a Descript in video. There's a bunch of cool tools now that I think they basically build like the AI tool will build a transcript and then start transposing text to that. And yeah, there's so
Exactly.
many cool tools available for quick videos now, and editing. I'd be afraid if I was an editor. Uh,
Yes.
I think a true good cutting editor is very valuable, but the tools have come a long way where they can get the grunt work done quickly. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you do it, but I do it sometimes where I'll take a 30-minute video, throw it into one of those tools, it does a transcription and then tries to figure out a chapter or a topic, and it'll do its own run
Yes.
cuts, and you can slide the
Yeah.
bar one way or the other. But amazing stuff, really, from where we were even 5, 6 years ago, that was not available. So
It's so true. And even with the project management system that I've implemented with Design, it works so well that we're actually onboarding clients from forestcom.com onto it because it
yeah,
works so well,
right,
because I want to start cutting down on the amount of management from clients end as well as our end on
yeah,
the various projects, right? So just email is just a bit horrid for that, right? Communication, it doesn't really work, right? The instant messaging works well.
yeah,
The markup works well on the, depending on the project management system, clients can mark up mockups and proofs directly into the system. So
yeah.
it's just, just all in one place, works really well.
And is that, I'm curious, Louis, is that something you custom built, or you built with a couple other pieces of software? Your project management system, or is it a homegrown thing, or not?
Um, no, so it's a subscription to a platform. There's many out there, and so basically it's just a matter of fit. I chose the one that we use specifically because it can be subscription based, so it's connected to a Stripe account, so it's easy
Yeah,
for credit card processing and that sort of thing. The difference between forestcom.com and forestcom.design is that with the on-demand agency is more about fixed pricing. So there's two things. At our end, we're spending less time managing, and we have less people as a full service agency to work on specific projects and brands. And we can tailor that by taking middlemen out, and clients can work directly with designers, but in the
yeah,
background there's a project manager that's handling things, and then there's me as a strategist that's kind of overseeing and making sure that there's good touch points with the clients on a weekly basis. But it's subscription based too, so they can cancel their subscriptions at the end of the month if they're not happy, or they
right,
can just continue it. So it's very, very easy, and it's fixed cost, right? But at the
right,
at but and we also do quoting, but we don't, most of the clients at the on-demand agency, they don't like that. They like the fixed costs every month. They know what they're getting, but they can
sure,
get all the design work that they want or motion graphics or web development that they want per month, right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
fixed, so they know how much they're spending. There's no scope creep,
yeah,
so like something changes. Oh my gosh, do I have to re-estimate it? Do I have to go through that rigmarole? It's going to take
yeah,
another 4 days before we can implement the changes. But with the on demand, it's like, it's not like that. It's like, who cares? Something changed on the project. Okay, let's keep going. Right.
right, right.
So it works
And
really well. It's a really good model. And then at the traditional agency, I see us kind of shifting to that model as well over time.
right, right. And is it something that I'm curious about how that works? Would there be like layers or bundles where you get so many hours of design time per month, or is it just open?
So what we have going on right now is we have design, video, and web. So I've taken the full, rather than just having a subscription agency that's just design work,
Mm,
we've always been full service focused, right? Because our clients need to touch all different levels of platforms, right? So design, video, web, motion graphics is really important as well to get attention, right? Because we need to grab attention and when you're out there in the marketplace. And
yeah,
so we've packaged it right now for design and landing pages, and then also for video editing and motion graphics, and then full service strategy or just custom.
gotcha.
So if clients want specialized packages, so we work something out for them, but it can be, some of our clients are on hours. So it's like, they pay so much for 40 hours per month and then they go from there. And
Right,
then we have
right.
other clients that are packs where it's like 30 or 40 hours for packs. And then if it takes 2 or 3 months to use up, they can do that as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So there are some limits. Basically, I was just curious, but that's great.
Well, yeah, I think it's reasonable. There's lots of sites out there that give you cheap pricing for design, but you
Yeah,
also get cheap design, right? And it's
right.
not strategic, and there's that care is not taken towards taking care of people's brands and what direction
Yeah,
they're going to, right? which
Yeah.
is ultimately going to lead to building trust and growing their businesses, right, in the
Yeah.
marketplace.
Yeah.
So so there is a difference. So, I think that if clients or companies want to have great design work, you know, $100 a month on some website is not going to cut it, right?
No, no, I mean it's always been that way, right? There's levels, and you can have a great artist, but they don't understand branding, the strategy behind it. And I've had so many people also hit me with like, we built this thing in AI, it looks really cool. I'm like, no, it doesn't. And
Yes.
or it does look really cool, but what does it say about the company it's representing? And then they go, no, but it looks really cool. Yeah, but it has nothing related to the brand. So
Yes.
where are you taking this? And that's what I find sometimes. They say anyone can build a logo, and I'm like, yeah, they can, but they won't be a good logo. And there's a whole science and a craft behind all of this.
Yes.
And just because someone can use a computer, that's nothing really. But
Yeah.
people miss that sometimes. They really don't understand it. And
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I
the
work.
well, the on-demand model is less expensive for clients, right? So it's good, but it's based on um a GSD, right? Getting stuff done, right?
Yeah,
So there's less like meetings and emails and
yeah,
time for estimates and all that sort of stuff, right? But on the other hand, it's a lot less expensive. So we could have a client spending maybe 5K a month on demand,
yeah,
right? But at the full service agency that we run traditionally right now, it could be 10 grand for a project where
sure,
they could be getting it done on demand for that 1 month for 5K, right?
yeah,
So, but there's just less, it's more about let's start working right now. Like let's not
yeah,
waste time, right? So it's more efficient, it's faster. And so there's kind of a give and take, right? So you get less of the fluff, but
yeah,
you get work done. So it works
yeah.
really well. It's kind of fun actually.
Well, I would think too, once you've got an established client that maybe came through the traditional agency, it's easier for them to move to the other platform, right? Because you've already got the main logo set up and the branding templates have been designed, and you built your brand guidelines. So now it's more about, hey, we've got a new project, or
Yes.
things have changed and we want to update it and do a new revision on XYZ. Now your on demand model is probably easier because you don't have to do as much hand holding with them, right? Most of the groundwork's been laid out. That's my guess anyways. Correct me if I'm
No, and
wrong.
I think you've guessed right. A lot of our clients who we've done full strategy and developed their website and collateral and LinkedIn banners and display ads and that sort of thing, they often move to the on demand. They'll come to us just to get work done for one particular month every
Yeah,
year, so that works for them.
great.
And a lot of it is built around, for the most part, kind of like five branches of design that we have, right? Which is making sure that clients have a brand identity, that they have brand guidelines, that they have their assets built for all of their online channels, which could be free giveaways, assessments, quizzes, offers, courses, all that sort of thing. So we usually direct people on that. It's funny, with the new digital first economy, we have to kind of implement all these things for our clients now. And then the fourth one would be improved writing or improved content, right? Because you just need to be seen as a leader in your market, in your space, right?
Yeah.
So whether that be a company as a whole or the leader of that company. And then the fifth branch that we really concentrate on as well is capturing that video content, those video assets, those graphic motion assets, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Great. Well, one last point I wanted to touch on was AI. Has that impacted your business? Are you, following it? How are you implementing AI if you are? And I'm curious because you strike me as maybe a systems and process nerd, if I could use that term in politely. Um, so tell me, Louis, is that part of your mandate as the manager and the owner? How is AI impacting your world?
It is, and it's funny. People are so afraid it's going to replace people. Nobody's going to have jobs anymore.
Yeah.
But it's funny. for us, AI is a tool, even for writing. So for us, we have writers that write content. We don't use AI. If we use AI is to draft ideation. So, and that goes across the board. So we use AI for copy, but it's only to draft the ideation. A
Yeah,
writer actually completes the writing and makes sure it's on par. Because the thing with AI is that it is a tool and it doesn't give you exactly what your client needs or wants,
right,
right?
right.
So it depends on what they're doing, what their strategy is, and what they're trying to say. And you're not going to get that 100% from any AI tool, as far as I'm concerned. And then so there always needs to be kind of like an end kind of human kind of touch point at that point,
Yeah,
right? And then with the creative, we are using AI. Um, we're using AI for stock photography. So if we can't find something in stock photography that's very specific, we'll use AI to generate images that are very specific.
mm,
So usually what that means is like covers, right?
right,
So if we're doing an annual report cover and there's a very specific theme and we can't find something in stock, we'll use AI for that. And then
right,
the other thing, the last component that we use for AI is for idea generation in creative. So that can be brand identities or logos or cover designs, right?
right.
But it's only for ideation. And the reason and how we're using it is to quickly get through that ideation process. And the
Yeah,
on-demand model is what's kind of drove this actually, because the on-demand model is supposed to be fast, efficient, but it's supposed to be correct. So if we use AI 100% for that and say, here's your logo, it's done, which I know of designers that do that, which is not
right.
okay with me.
Yeah,
Um, it's like done, right? But usually it doesn't give you exactly what you need. That's the problem with AI. And I think that we're many years away from that point, but we use it for idea creation and quickly getting through the process of with a client saying, oh, you know what, I really like this, or I don't like this, or I like this, and then we keep ideating until we're really close, and then we take it, and then as designers we take it, and then we kind of refine it from there. And I'd say it could be as much as 30 to 50% of the work still
yeah,
needing to be done. So,
yeah,
but it does work really well, and I think that clients are excited to see because we're very transparent about how we use AI. I
yeah.
think I think clients are actually really excited to see um, the idea generation that comes through AI as well,
Mm.
and they get excited about that process.
No, I totally agree. It's wild. I've worked with a few writers, and exactly to your point there. Let's ask an engine, a Chat GPT or any other one. Give me 10 topics on blah blah blah, whatever it is, and it just again sparks ideas in your mind. So to your point, it just speeds up the process, right? I worked in ad agencies a
That's
million years ago, and we used to take a whiteboard and just start brain dumping anything we could and get 4 or 5 people in a room because their brain would see something different off that word. But we would literally write little lines and then a bubble and write the word and then write the next word and then
yes,
write. But that process sometimes took, we'd go back and forth for hours. And now again, if I was to bang that into one of these AI tools, it's going to generate that in seconds for me. And now
exactly.
we can get to what are we doing with the idea, a much higher concept work versus the grunt work of trying to, squeeze out
Yeah,
another 36 words out of our head and find something. And yeah,
yeah.
good.
It's really great. It's really great. And I've actually found myself using it a lot. We work with taglines and slogans and whatnot, but I'll go on GPT to just find words, you
Cool.
know. It's give me a word that describes this that starts with a J,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, right? And so and it always spits something out that I wasn't aware of. I was like, oh, that works or that doesn't work, or so yeah, AI is really interesting. And we use the Adobe platform for the most part
Yeah.
and some Canva as well. We're starting to get into that. But
Yeah.
everywhere everyone is implementing AI into their platforms, like
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah. It's every piece of software on the planet. You're absolutely right. It's there no stone unturned right now as far as implementing AI. We're seeing it in recruiting and HR and everywhere in our world. So, Look, Louis, I want to thank you again for being on the show. If people want to find you, obviously they can find you on LinkedIn, and your websites. Could you just mention them again? Because I know one's .com and I think the other one's dot.
Yeah, so forestcom.com is our full service agency, and forestcom.design is our on-demand service.
Great, excellent. Well, thanks again, and hopefully, we see some good results in the Stanley Cup ahead. And thank you
Oh
again for
gosh.
being on the show.
Yes, I think we need a prayer or two for that one for sure after last night's game, but yes.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thanks again. Hope to reconnect with you later in the year potentially. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Sure thing, Lance. Thanks for having me.